One of my opponent's main claims was that other countries are now doing badly in economic crisis because they did collect enough taxes. They did not collect enough tax revenue. However, we cannot compare the other countries to US because of size. The other countries are doing badly because of other reasons. We can't compare all the countries, but it is comparable to Russia. The other countries are doing badly because of the economic downturn, according to Encyclopedia Britannica, the financial crisis of 2008. It began in 2007 when sky-high home prices in the United States finally turned decisively downward, spread quickly, first to the entire US financial sector and then to financial markets overseas. Less developed countries likewise lost markets abroad and their foreign investment, on which they had depended for growth capital, withered. With none of the biggest economies prospering, there was no obvious engine to pull the world out of its recession, and both government and private economists predicted a rough recovery. Economies were heavily required on exports and were not diversified. This is especially true for Latvia, which was, I believe, stated by my opponents, and Estonia. Russia, which is closer in size to the United States, including an average, you can compare the GDP and tax revenue to the US because of the size. The magnitude of tax-induced change in compliance was large enough to offset the revenue loss that resulted from lower tax rates on the affected individuals. Therefore, revenue increases that followed tax reform can partly be attributed to lower tax rates. This is the case in which Russia adopted the flat tax. Real GDP grew. It improved the economic output by creating incentives to work and invest, and reduced the complexity by eliminating many tax expenditures. Another main claim that my opponents made was that tax cuts benefit only the rich. This is not true. According to Colette Mihan from Small Business magazine, this tax system, referring to the flat tax system, does not discriminate based on income level. Everyone pays the same percent of income. And don't think of percent as in everyone pays the same amount, because then it does sound unfair. The percent is the same, but the amount is proportional to the amount of people, the amount that people make. Also, according to a CNN poll, nearly 70% of Americans say they think the current tax code is unfair and benefits the rich. If the current tax code benefits the rich, the flat tax code will be equal. In conclusion, the current U.S. tax code is a drain on the economy and a deterrent to growth. It is too complicated, inadequate, expensive, and unfair. The combination of poorly targeted tax expenditures, egregious tax loopholes, and a large and growing tax gap has resulted in a tax code that heavily favors wealthy individuals and multinational corporations at the expense of the vast majority of families and small business owners. The current U.S. tax code is unable to be fixed because of lack of political will, lack of public will, and because it is a progressive tax code. A flat tax would be far less complicated, an incentive to grow, far less expensive, and much more fair. Thank you.